Hi lifers, PJ here, and welcome back to Midlife Models. This is a update, probably the first of a few that I'll do, as to where we are with projects. Having just completed the Land Rover Safari number 12 Matchbox, I'm just waiting for a canopy to be delivered to finish that off. Sorry, not a canopy, a luggage rack. Everything's slow to arrive due to the slowness of the post and getting all to pieces. I don't have a mass collection of stuff to fall back on. I've had a couple of eBay auctions that I've won, so I've got a few cars to go at, but the Land Rover was the first near restoration or from ruin to refreshed that I could complete and video. But I have done some other bits and pieces in the background or before that, just to learn how to do stuff from some of the other guys on YouTube. So I thought I'd just take you through where we are with various little projects and what I need to do to complete some. So one that I did actually complete was this Lone Star truck, and as you can see, it's been it was a fairly basic model. There's no interior, there's no base plate, but again, it's one of the oldest cars in my collection from when I was a kid. It was pretty much down to just plain metal. There was nothing on it. So we did the caustic soda treatment, we removed the axles, primed it, sprayed it white, and then having found some logos that are, pretty generic, but I've used BP ones in this case. So they're printed on photo paper with some double-sided tape and stuck on. And I had a spare decal from the original plastic version of the Land Rover long wheelbase Revel kit, and it fitted nicely on the back. So it's just adding a few details to it really, just to finish it off. Blackwash the tyres, and I'm quite chuffed how that turned out really. So there's that. Was completed. I've got one of the London taxi cabs, so that has been stripped and resprayed black. The original base for that was just a really bog standard grey, so what I've done is to just use the Tamiya light grey primer and then covered it with the Tamiya clear, and it gave it a nice little finish. With a lot of these projects that I've got ongoing, it's waiting to get parts either from a lot of the reproduction companies that are currently closed, or it's slow for them to post stuff out. So the interior, I've got to source another interior. This is for the London taxi cab. The glass was absolutely ruined. I know that some of the projects that I do are going to be called ruined to refreshed, but that's absolutely knackered. There's nothing I can do with that, so I'm going to be sourcing either a donor vehicle or a reproduction piece. So there's that. I've got two of these Carrier Bantam Matchbox 2-ton trucks. So they have both been primed. They're identical, but I'll show you one. So they've both been primed, but the base plate's been sprayed gloss black. So there's those. I've got a couple of the number 12, well, I say a couple, sorry, not number 12, number 30 8-wheel cranes, where the base has been wire brushed and the body and the crane parts have been primed. I was waiting for some Vallejo orange and green to come through, which has now been delivered. So they're waiting for me to get around to spraying them. I have also got a Matchbox Roller-Matic number 20 police patrol vehicle. The chassis has been removed and put to one side for the time being, but the body has been primed and resprayed in white. Again, with this particular model, I have a confession to make on this. I don't know if I can find it here. Bear with me a sec. Sometimes you'll get an idea how to do something, and then from a hint or a tip on a video, and then you think, I'll try that. So that was the body, and that came out fine. This was the white, the plastic windows, and I went at this with a rotary tool and really overdid it. So it's a bit of a mess. What I might try is going at it with the lamp doctor, but ideally I'm going to be waiting for a better interior and again a donor vehicle. So there's that one. This John Player Special, it's one of my favourite cars from when I was a kid. It's the John Player Special F1 Corgi Toys Whiz Wheels, scale 1 to 36. Now this one I won in an eBay auction. As you can see, it's pretty scuffed. However, the idea of getting this was for reference for the logos, and I'm not going to call them decals because they're stickers, but the John Player Special stickers. I wanted a reference for recreating them, because in my box of pieces, this was my original from when I was a kid, and again it was down to bare metal, so that's been refreshed. It was ruined, but it was in a state where I could refresh it. So again, with these two pieces, they've been primed and resprayed in gloss black. I've been using the Alfred's gloss black for spraying, and what Alfred's white gloss primer, Alfred's white gloss and primer for basic white bodies, shells like that one. You can get a can for £7, whereas these little these little Vallejo bottles, you're getting, I don't know, 17 millilitres in there. So yes, they'll go fairly far, But when the majority of the vehicles that I get hold of are either black or white bodies, then it made sense to invest in a big rattle can of black and white glosses. So the JPS is sprayed black. I have been working with I took some photos for reference of the John Player Special logos, and then using Paint Shop Pro I've been able to create the front sticker initially. I've got some work to do on the other stickers, but it's come out pretty well. Being as it's a sticker, that I'll be able to print that onto photo paper and put some double-sided tape on there and put them onto the front of the JPS, and I think they'll look fairly smart. Bear in mind that these models, or these diecast vehicles that I do, are for my satisfaction. They're not going to be sold off or auctioned or whatever. What else have I learnt? Sorry, what have I learnt since I've been starting this? What I've learnt is that you could use a gold Sharpie for, this has been done with a metallic gold Sharpie. This is the interior of the JPS and the engine parts. That came out better than I expected. I mean, I was still learning at this stage about stripping back paint, and I was really cautious with these plastic parts that have been painted. Well, not painted, it's almost like a coating of some kind of metallic laminate. I don't know what it is that covers them, but anyway, I tried it with a gold Sharpie and it came out pretty good, so I was quite pleased with that. I also found out that if you want to have an half decent job when you're airbrushing, invest in an half decent airbrush. I brought a kit off Amazon. It was a Chinese compressor and airbrush combined for about 80 quid. The compressor's fine. The airbrush hasn't lasted as long as I hoped it would. So I've invested in a harder and Steinbeck Evolution CR Plus. I ended up doing the Land Rover Safari number 12 with this for the green olive paint, and after several attempts with the Chinese airbrush, I threw it. It's probably the gentlest way I can say, around the shed, and it took me a couple of days to build up my confidence to have another go at airbrushing, and it came out really well. Now I think the O-ring had gone on the Chinese airbrush because it was leaking all over the place, so I may invest in getting some replacements, or I may invest in another Evolution. There are various versions of it. So it also, I think with the airbrushing, if you can get it right and you can do one model, it really builds your confidence. The problem I had with the Land Rover Safari was it was two-tone. So what I ended up doing was, although it was all sprayed with Tamiya primer initially, the light grey primer, I then used Alpha's white gloss to do the roof, and then this is some, I think it's Revell enamel to do the body, and that was done through the airbrush. And after several attempts, finally I managed to get it to a point that I was happy with. I'm not going to say it's perfection, it's far from it. It's not a gloss paint anyway, it's a matte paint. But I'd got to this stage once before, and what I then did I think it was the second attempt, I then covered it with Tamiya clear, and the roof was fine, but the body, the reaction from the body paint was, it just broke up, it crackled, and I ended up stripping it back for the third time. And so on the third attempt, I did the roof first. Sorry, I primed it, and then I did the roof with the Alphard's white gloss, and then masked it off, and did the rest successfully this time with the Evolution airbrush, and it came out fairly good. I mean, this was my first attempt at a ruined model to some kind of state of being refreshed. I have to get the luggage rack for it. I'll be getting that through eBay or one of the reproduction parts places, websites. But just to get something back, the satisfaction you get from just getting something back to a state of being presentable, the satisfaction is great. It's really worth all the frustration that you have along the way, but that's a part of the hobby. You're learning how to do these things. I've seen, I was I was watching, I think it was I don't know what the guy's name is, but his YouTube channel's called, I'm sure it's Australian Restoration, and this guy was restoring an old tin oven, a kiddie's tin oven, and what he ended up doing was to put a cotton bud in a cordless drill to use it for cleaning out polish that you'd put on before. And I thought that's brilliant. It was just a little thing, so you can break a cotton bud in half, stick it in the chuck of the drill. I mean, I'd got it turned right down low, and then with the lamp doctor paste, clean it out. Where by using a rotary tool, it was so powerful that the polishing attachment was biting into the plastic and causing dips, and it ruined the plastic glass interior for the patrol vehicle, that one. So I'm pleased with where I am. Obviously, as I say, the Safari Land Rover was the first one that I've been able to video from start to finish, but as the old saying goes, it wasn't my first rodeo. I had got other projects going on in the background, but they were in a state where I couldn't show the stages from beginning to end. And even with the Land Rover, I cut out a lot of the top coat finishing videos because of the issues I was having with the airbrush. So that's really an update as to where we are now. I'll continue doing these if people are interested to see how projects are moving on. If I've learnt anything new, I'll pass that on. I will give shout outs to the guys where I've picked something up from, and encourage you to visit their channels and subscribe and like their videos. So there we are. That's an update from Midlife Models. I hope you're all well, safe. Some of the lockdowns are starting to ease. I'll be going fishing That was the reason I took up this this hobby, was that you know, the restrictions on outdoor activities were being stopped. You know, I couldn't get out, and a lot of this stuff you can do from home, obviously, and you can get the materials online and have them delivered. But there is a frustration in the wait for the post. Also, getting out to the hobby shops, they're all closed. Hopefully they'll, in a month's time or so, they'll be looking at reopening them if all goes well. It's also got me keen to go to the charity shops, and as I said, I think in another video, the car boot sales, looking and discovering and taking the grandkids out for a day or a morning and trolling around all the stores. So there we go. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.